All right, good evening, everyone. It's been quite a while since I've done a Midwestern Geek in Cali episode. As you can tell, don't go by that date there. This video for episode 115 was published like 3 months ago, and it's been a minute. So just want to say you can find us here online at midwesterngeekincali.com. That'll take you to the blog on Blogspot. Um, You can email us from here, but just click on the logo there, and you can find all of our social media here. We're on YouTube at Midwestern Geek and Cali. Just search us under Midwestern Geek and Cali podcast. If you would subscribe on YouTube, appreciate that. And then Midwestern Geek and Cali group. You can find us at facebook.com/groups/MWGIC and also on Twitter at Midwest Geek Cali as well. So we're all over the place. Today I'm gonna get into the Facebook group a little bit. I've been posting mostly the stories that I like to follow here on the Facebook group. Uh, I also have a few members that share things, so I'm going to give that a like real quick. Um, most of the members in here are personal friends, and almost everyone knows what kind of stuff that I love to follow in here. I actually need to read this one about the personal hover bike. That looks really fun. And also the physics of resonance. I have to read that story yet as well. This is an interesting story here, and now you're going to get the most um, geek news stories by going to the Facebook group. That's probably the best place to go to follow the stories that I post most days. I mean, I share a lot of science, tech, and sci-fi and TV, sci-fi TV show news and such like that. I'm also interested in electric vehicles, specific ones, particularly the ID Buzz, which is purported to be the up and coming successor to the Volkswagen Beetle Bus, as I like to call it, or transporter, or combi, or whatever you want to call it. Bully, some people call it Bulli. Um, I also tend to share a fair amount of my artwork and stuff in this group. Some very interesting stories. This guy turned his broken car into a motorcycle to escape the desert. That's a fascinating story. There's a new Star Trek show about the USS Republic in development. SpaceX and other space news I will post in here quite often as well. I tend to follow a lot of space news. That was my original science fiction love. I originally fell in love with hard science fiction as a young kid, and kind of migrated into fantasy and such. Comic books actually were a big thing for me even before sci-fi. I've always liked that, and I'm also big on anti-aging, fusion, etc. So there's a lot of stories in here. I also have shared some book covers from books that I've read over the years that I really enjoyed. Things on weight loss, diet, medicine, stuff like that. I also, of course, share some of my episodes in here. Um, so you'll find all kinds of news on the Facebook group. So really, really cool. And as I said, artwork. This is actually a pick that I did for a movie review. I used to do movie reviews for fun back when I actually went to movies. This was I Frankenstein. And this was some art that I did to go with the movie ticket. I used to like to post the movie ticket along with a review Had a web blog on Blogger called Reviews You Can Use. It's still there. You can go back and read any of the reviews. It's just called Reviews You Can Use. And if you're ever looking for any of that stuff, it was actually pretty cool. And then here's a collage of some of my favorite sci-fi books of all time, and a few of the covers, just because they're such classics and just stuff that I loved, just to share in here. And I highly recommend that you go back and read any of these. These are all really good books. This is such a classic here by one of the great masters, and I absolutely loved this series called The Magic Engineer for quite a while. And this is from the Forgotten Realms books, and just a bunch of really great stories. And I've also been very big on John Carter of Mars for a long time because this actually is a precursor to Star Wars. It's the original space opera written between 1914 and 1941. This is the first book, A Princess of Mars, and written by Edgar Rice Burroughs, the same guy that wrote Tarzan, who was, by the way, from Oak Brook, Illinois, or Oak Park, Illinois, sorry. And you can tell that a lot of stuff in Star Wars was really adapted almost directly from the John Carter of Mars books and modernized and updated. There's so much that if you go back and read the John Carter books, which are really inexpensive now because they're so old, you start looking at it with an eye towards what's in common with Star Wars, you'll see where a lot of Star Wars really came from. Uh, it's clear as day when you start reading these books because they're far older than the Star Wars books. Um, they were there long before. Uh, Lots of space exploration stuff. I'm interested in the James Webb Space Telescope. Of course, science fiction, geek stuff, electric vehicle stuff. Yeah, and the Beatles. I'm just a Beatles fan from way back. So yeah, but um, a little humor too. This is a new restaurant that opened up in town. I really love it. It's a great Greek place. Yeah, but my first comment on hearing Papa Feta, well, I just kind of thought they should have called it Bobo Feta. Just saying. Um, so anyway, uh, just tons and tons and tons of great content in the Facebook group. I think if you're on Facebook, you'll definitely want to ask to join this group because you're going to get an awful lot of stories with very interesting stuff for geeks. Let's put it that way. Just tons and tons and tons. I like the Cybertruck. I know some people think it's ugly, but I think it's fun and cool. And if I had that kind of money, I would definitely get one just for the fun of it. Um, Tons and tons of stories here. I also was an airplane nut as a little kid. The first thing I ever wanted to be was a pilot. So you'll see me occasionally sharing aviation stories in here too. Uh, just tons and tons of stuff like that. So um, anyway, just wanted to give a brief update where things are at. It's been really busy for me on weekends, and I just haven't really had a lot of time to do videos and such. I mean, it's not like I'm making a dime doing any of them. So I've been running my tail off, doing all kinds of other stuff, and I'm just, kind of cruising. But don't think I'm gone, because I'm not. I am going to be doing, Midwestern Geek in Cali probably forever, as just a matter of Yeah, when do I have something specific that I want to share? Can I, get some time to put together a cohesive show? And oh, that one's a kind of scary one. IRS will require facial recognition scans to access your taxes. Now, any of these that I'm scrolling past in the Facebook group, these are links to the actual articles, and you can definitely jump in. This is actually from a pretty reputable site, Gizmodo, and they're not joking. This is to get the facial recognition scans will be to access your taxes online, right? Not to just go to your tax agent and have them file your taxes, but to access your taxes online, like get on to your online account. So there's all kinds of stuff on quantum computing. Of course, this is a little scene from under my computer monitor at my desk at work. I happened to pick up this Gateway Country mug, which is very retro geek for me, and at Habitat for Humanity Restore a while back. I mean, it just made sense to grab that and have it at work because I teach IT. Yeah, so very definitely. This is a cool, fun thing. Star Trek Voyager fan built a replica tricorder, and it's too cool for school. Quantum batteries coming out. And more stuff on potential weight loss help. Uh, just so many cool things. Basic physics, uh, geek shows and stuff. This is gonna have like shows that are up and coming, sci-fi shows that are coming out. Uh, let's see, scientists discover how to halt and control cellular death process. So I'm into all kinds of stuff that's anti-aging, and of course Starship. I'm really looking forward to Starship being fully operational. I think it's going to be the coolest thing since sliced bread as far as technology and getting humankind into real space flight. So you definitely want to check out those articles. I think what Elon Musk is trying to do with Starship is amazing. It blows anything else I've seen being done in space right now out of the water, with maybe the exception of the James Webb Space Telescope. The SLS launch system, Starship's going to be more capable than that if they can actually get it done, and for far better cost return, far better cost efficiency. Let's put it that way. I mean, it's not a electromagnetic launch systems, which I've been a huge proponent of for many, many years, but it's really about the best thing going is Starship for interplanetary exploration, building large scale out in space, etc. I really think it is a big deal. So just saying. And anyway, lots and lots of fun stuff. Uh, let's see here. Stuff about Earth's interior cooling. Of course, geology is an interesting one. Yeah, I'm into all kinds of crazy groups. Just like a lot of eclectic, interesting stuff um, all over. So that's me, because I'm doing this from my personal Facebook profile. So at any rate, yeah, you will find so many different things in here in this group. I mean, really, if you're into this kind of stuff, this is really the place to go because I weed all the noise out and bring all this stuff in here in a cohesive feed in the group. And you could spend hours and days in here scrolling through and getting all kinds of really, really cool articles from all over the web in this group. So I've had people that have told me flat out that this has helped them get through the pandemic. Of course, I do like a little bit of humor now and then. Uh-huh. Um, and anyway, hope everybody's doing well. Man, that is so cool. That Ankythera mechanism, that the world's first computer, this thing would actually compute the positions of planets and moons and planets and the moon and stars, etc. It's almost like an astrological calculator. It's so cool. And it's what something like, I can't remember, was it like 2000 BC? But it's like 2000 years ago plus that this thing was made, if not even longer. It just blows my mind that somebody was doing something like that. This is cool. This is actually a lighter than air aircraft designed to be fast, and it's like a luxury yacht in the air. It's a super cool idea. As you can see, it's also going to be, would also be using solar power as well, electric propulsion. Pretty amazing idea there. So come in, give it a scroll through, get your fill, and then mark where you were because it goes back and back and back and way back. Yeah, let's play with somebody's trail cam. Yeah, that's not my idea, but it was fun. So you can find all the geek news you could ever want in this place, in this group. Just saying. And anyway, um, let's just go ahead and bring that one up just for fun. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that don't like Starlink, but I sure like the idea of ubiquitous broadband all over the planet from pole to pole. I don't think it's fair that so many people are cut out from the web. And Starship, they're talking about being able to launch 400 of them at a crack. Um, and they're designed to deorbit once they reach the end of life and burn up. So, yeah, I'm not as hard knocking on Starlink as a lot of people are. Yeah, I know it's noise for the astronomers, but yeah, one of the other things Starship would be good for is putting up more space telescopes that are above the a whole satellite shell. Just saying. Yeah. That's one of the cool things about James Webb. Let me get back over to the group and go up to that James Webb story. Let's see, I'm gonna scroll that up to the top and then back down. I think that'll be the fastest way to find it in here. Because remember, there's a lot. All right, come on. All right, it goes down just a little ways. I did say faster, right? I think I said faster. Uh, I don't think there is any faster in here. There's a lot of stuff to scroll through, as you can see, as you've already seen. There we go. Here we go. James Webb Space Telescope. It's reached its parking spot. This parking spot for the James Webb is over 1 million miles from Earth. Let me tell you, if Starship were operational now, it would have been able to launch the Webb Space Telescope and put it out there, and probably another one. So we could put telescopes in space with Starship in a big way and not have the issues with atmospheric interference and etc. Interesting that they made that video private, but anyway, you get the idea in general. And I'm not going to play the video here. You can, watch that because all you got to do is go to the Facebook group and you'll find this story as long as you scroll down just a little ways. And again, to find the Facebook group, just go to facebook.com/group/MWGIC and request to join. And I'll be happy to add you in. I don't have it public because just anybody can join and cause a lot of noise. And I really don't want a lot of noise in here. I try to keep this group pretty much focused on sci-fi tech, a little bit of humor and geek humor at that, and that's pretty much it. I don't want to get into ideologies and gossip and noise and stuff like that. I try to keep this a very positive and uplifting place to go on the web. And Midwestern Geek in Cali is more about that. And and to be honest, the older I get, the less I care to dive into discussion of ideologies and all that other kind of stuff. It just really doesn't help because nobody's online to have a debate. Everybody's online to spout. When it comes to that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of a waste of all of our breaths, anyways. So I guess we just have to land where we all land, and just remember we're all Americans no matter what. And we're all citizens of the earth. We're all human beings, and beyond that, it's just not for me to say, not my place. All right. So again, you can also find that group by just going to MidwesternGeekandCali.com. That'll land you on the blog. Go over to the right side under the Geek links, and there it is, Midwestern Geek and Cali Facebook discussion group right there. Okay, so you can also find the YouTube channel here too. So anywhere online, and then of course you can take a wander through all my certifications, or at least the ones in the last few years, and past episodes from YouTube, etc. There's always going to be something interesting. And on that note, I don't know how much more I have to really put out in the video tonight. Again, my favorite story going right now and the most positive and uplifting is how lucky we got that they actually got James Webb out to where it belongs and it's getting calibrated and all that kind of stuff and getting ready. It's going to be a couple months before they're really doing any kind of astronomy with it because they got to get everything calibrated and all the instruments tested out and all that kind of stuff. Now that everything's unfolded like a piece of origami, it's all unfolded to its final form, but they have to turn everything on, test it out, make sure it's seeing properly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you got a couple of months where the ground team is going to be just getting the web woke up, out of bed, stretched, fed, coffeeed, and ready to roll on to work. So there you go. Hope everyone's doing well. And as always, let's see, I'm going to do a little bit of infinity screen here for you. And then switch over to the cam and say good night, everyone. Have a wonderful what's left of your weekend. Happy Vulcan fingers to you from the agent of 42. I'm in my little library slash office slash catch-all here in the house. May there never be a rogue wave in your coffee mug, and may there be lots of science and sci-fi in your future. All right. So, all my fellow geeks, we're in a new age, and a new era, and a new year, and let's hope things just go for the better. All right.